video, we're going to explain a very fascinating phenomenon known as beta shaming. And you're going to see for yourself how when a guy who a woman perceives as beta says anything even remotely sexual, he gets shamed and just gets totally annihilated, while an alpha guy could say the same exact thing and get a totally different reaction. In my opinion, beta shaming is one of the most fascinating topics when it comes to dating. I first learned about this from an old RC Talent video, and basically what he did was he dressed up kind of like a nerd, even though he kind of looks like a nerd already. He was kind of meek, right? And he would go up to girls and try to be sexual, and he would just get shamed over and over again. Girls would be like, you can't say that, don't do that. And then when he did his alpha persona, right, which again is kind of a stretch for RC Talent, but 2014, 2015, he was a lot less weird, right? He got totally different reactions. He got positive reactions. And this completely reinforced something I've noticed myself. I just noticed that, I have friends who are a little bit more nerdy, who are a little bit more beta, and they can say the same exact things as me and get a very negative reaction, right? Whereas when a guy who's more alpha says that shit, he gets a positive reaction. So why is that? Well, it's called beta shaming, right? So women have a completely different standard for guys that perceive as beta and guys that perceive as alpha. And you're gonna see this reinforced in the video I'm gonna play. Now, black pillars think this is largely comes down to looks, right? And I do think looks definitely play a key part of this, right? So when a girl sees you, if you look like very fat or skinny, you look kind of beta, right? She's gonna put you in the beta category. It's still possible you have that. However, when you look like a guy who, who gets some ass, right? She's gonna mentally, generally try to lean you towards the alpha category. However, it's very easy for the girl to take you from the alpha category and put you in the beta category based on how you conduct yourself. And a lot of this is going to be things like confidence, body language, eye contact, right? When you make a joke, are you self-conscious or do you fucking own that shit? So let's take a look at a clip of a guy who was on my channel who very much, unfortunately, no disrespect to him, very much falls into the beta category. So right away we can see that this guy, he's overweight, his like fashion and everything about him, his grooming is extremely subpar. Like this just looks like a classical geek. So let's play this.
What up, Joey?
Yeah, hi.
How are you?
Good. Yourself?
Good.
So right away you can notice that this guy's not confident. We're 10 seconds in, and it's pretty apparent to the girl and to anyone else who's paying attention that this guy lacks confidence, he's self-conscious, he doesn't have much experience talking to girls. He's very much what you would call a beta.
I have some questions. The name, Joey's Dungeon Slave. What's our vibe? Is this a game? Is this your name?
Yeah, it's my name.
From why? Why are you a slave?
It's a long story.
I'm ready to hear it. I think we all are.
Okay, so there's like a food reviewer.
Now another thing that I want to quickly observe, he's got that kind of like fake nice guy smile, right? Where you feel awkward but you don't know what to do, right? So you just keep smiling because you're trying to avoid conflict and confrontation, right? But avoiding confrontation is actually a beta quality. An alpha guy, he doesn't seek out confrontation, but he doesn't give a shit. He's not afraid to give the girl some shit back.
Named Joey's World Tour. And
Got it.
Like we're all basically sexualizing him. And basically, I'm his dungeon slave. So
you're the bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a shit test, and she massively failed him. She's like, you're a bitch, and he's like, yeah, right? That's obviously not what you want to say. I would say something like, nah, girl, I'm the master, right? So shit tests are a very important way for a girl determining whether you're alpha or beta. Every time you pass a shit test, you move up in the alpha hierarchy, right? But if you fail a shit test, you go down. And you go down by failing a shit test way more than you go up. So if you pass, maybe you go up by 10%. If you fail, you go down by 50%, right? And it's very easy after failing a few shit tests, which hot girls will give you all the time, for her to just put you in the beta category. Even if you're good looking, you can still be in the beta category if you fail some of the shit tests. Well, let's keep going.
Okay. To each their own.
I mean, if you want to join in.
No, thank you.
To each its own.
Fair. Okay, where are you from?
From Canada.
Now, another thing what makes this guy quote unquote beta is the fact that the girl's leading the conversation. An alpha guy would be the one who leads the conversation himself. It doesn't mean you can't let the girl ask questions, right? It just means you generally control the flow of the conversation and you're the one who's in charge.
So you're Canadian.
Canadian, eh?
Yeah, where in Canada? That's where all the serial killers live.
The what?
Serial killers? Don't fuck with cats.
Now again, notice how he has that like kind of like awkward nice guy smile, like haha. So if a girl said that to me, I'd be like, damn girl, you've been watching too much A&E. You gotta take it easy on the reality TV show. You know, there's a lot of good people in Canada. You can't judge us all based on what you saw on some TV show, right? With a playful smile on my face.
Keep going. You're doing great.
Yeah,
Don't
As a general rule of thumb, whenever a girl tells you that you're doing great, you're doing terribly, right? Typically, that's not something you're going to actually hear when you're doing well.
Don't read the comments, my guy. Don't
Okay.
do it. But it's not good.
Now, also another thing is observe who is the masculine and who's feminine here, right? And typically with girls like Torsha, girls who are a little bit more bratty, a little bit more confident, right? They are going to be dominant if the guy is, you know, not as dominant. But when they meet and match with a guy who's truly dominant, right, they will enter their submissive, right? It's just the problem is that this guy, he's not that dominant. He's kind of more feminine, submissive, right? So she's becoming the dominant.
They're mean in there. Trust me. Ask me a question.
So let's start with you, Torsha. Tell me about yourself.
Now, I've always said this in the past, don't do very general, vague questions like that. They're kind of cliche and they're boring. I never ask questions, what do you do for fun? Or tell me about yourself, all right? It's much better to have specific questions. One question that I personally like is, what kind of guys are you into? I think that usually kickstarts a good discussion that then you can riff off and build on.
It's a loaded question. Ask me a specific question.
I don't know. Are you on OnlyFans?
Get
I
the
don't know, you
fuck
seem like
out
an
of here.
OnlyFans girl.
Alex, are you fucking kidding me, dude?
I don't know. It's an honest question.
Now that is an extreme reaction because he didn't really say anything that crazy. He's just asking her, are you on OnlyFans, right? This is the first time in the history of my speed dating show where the girl wanted to prematurely end the date, right? I've never seen a reaction this bad. And I would wager if it was a guy who was more alpha who said literally the same exact thing, he would get a totally different reaction. Again, this is what happens when a beta guy tries to be sexual.
Hold on.
You want
It's a fucking haram.
You want to end the date, Torsha?
Yeah, I don't like that. Sorry.
Okay.
Fair enough. We gotta
I
respect
mean, I've
that.
heard other people ask it. It's okay. All right.
So the guy's confused. He's like, well, other people have asked that question. You know, why am I getting that reaction? Again, because in her mind, she thinks you're very beta. And when a beta guy tries to kind of get out of that category and tries to be more sexual, more flirty, right, there's a massive, what the fuck is going on here, right? So for a guy like that, yeah, he's always going to be put in the beta bubble unless he does massive amounts of work on himself. But again, an alpha guy could ask that same exact question and get a completely different reaction. So what would I do if I was this guy? Well, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of work that he has, both physically and also in terms of his game. So physically, I would, one, really start hitting the gym hard, lose some weight, put on some muscle. He needs to go to a high-end barbershop and fix whatever he has going on here. He just looks very unkempt. So get like a, you know, nice skin fade, as I always say, have them line up his beard. He needs to take the glasses off, put on contacts and do LASIK, right? Again, I mentioned that he needs to hit the gym because that is crucial for him. But then in addition to that, he needs to go out there and practice talking to girls. So I asked him afterwards, I was like, hey, dude, do you do cold approach? And he's like, no, dude, I don't, right? And it very much shows. That's why he feels awkward and just weird when he's talking to a girl. He needs to go out there and do massive amounts of, you know, I'm not going to say massive amounts of cold approach, but he needs to do a massive amount of work in terms of socializing to develop his social skills so that when he talks to a girl, he's not being awkward and weird, right? And he also needs to practice like not coming off as much of a nice guy, right? Because again, girls are going to put you in that bubble. And then once you're in that bubble, anything you do that's sexual is going to backfire. This is why, you know, people always ask me like, Alex, you know, how are you able to be so sexual with a girl so fast, right? Again, for me, I never get reactions like this. I never get pushback. I never get girls like, whoa, I want to end the date. Yo, this is not cool, right? That's majority of the time. Girl is fairly down with it. She's like, hee, right? But then again, this is something because I come off as an alpha guy, or at least I like to think so, right? I don't come off as a beta guy. But if you're a beta guy, kind of in that general direction, when you try to sexualize, you will get reactions like this. All right, hopefully you guys found this video valuable. Again, I think this is one of the most fascinating concepts when it comes to this whole thing, is just how girls will treat two guys very, very differently based on what they think they are, even if those two guys are saying literally the same exact thing. Show us some love by smashing the like button, hitting subscribe, click that bell for notification, share this video with a friend who you think it would be helpful for. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.